Hi, I'm trying to think about giving some evidence for the things that I can put on my CV, but it is difficult because I know that there's lots of things that I do, but many of them don't seem that important or not important enough to mention as part of my CV. So I can see that, I look at this dimensions of life thing and it says, I've got intellectual and physical and social and environmental and occupational dimension, but I haven't got an occupational dimension. That's my problem. And spiritual, I don't really believe in God, so that's not important for me. Emotional, I'm not feeling too great at the moment. So I'm trying to find a way of actually being positive about this and actually getting some evidence. And thinking about where I've made an effort is not a bad thing. So when I think about, what did I have to work hardest at in my degree? I hated statistics. I did psychology and I hated statistics. I couldn't understand it. There were all this data and using SPSS. I couldn't get through the menus, I couldn't understand what it was doing, and we had assignments which I just didn't feel I understood it. And I really, really struggled through that. And I had an assignment to do, and when I got it, I didn't think I'd be able to do it. And in the end, I was able to do it, but I had to do all sorts of things. Like I had to look on the web. I found some videos on the web, actually, which really helped me understand what I needed to do. And so I had to be very flexible and not just work in the sort of straight way that a lot of other students that I saw worked, because they could do it. They could just sort of, look at the assignment and think, oh yes, I know what to do, I know what to type into the system. I had to look in many places for some sources of information which I could actually use. And that made me struggle. And it did work. I wasn't brilliant, but it taught me something. It taught me that if I can be flexible in the way that I try and understand things, then that can help, even when I'm faced with really difficult things. When I think about where I've made an effort physically, well, I suppose most of the physical efforts I've made have been things like staying up really late at night, just trying to get assignments done, just trying to get essays completed. I suppose there have been things like moving house, and I helped a friend of mine move house, and we shifted the whole house without removal men. I mean, that was exhausting, but we had a project and we had to get it done during the day, and we were both so tired, but we just had to keep on going because it had to be done. So there was an instance where I had to sort of display sort of endurance and stamina. So that's an example of where I've had to do that. When I think about where I make an effort socially, well, studying any course, you always meet lots and lots of different people, and some of them you like and some of them you don't like, but somehow you have to get on. And I suppose to some extent I've found a way of avoiding some of the people I didn't like, but there were occasions where I had to work with them, and I had to find a way of finding some common ground where we could work together. And that was difficult. They weren't people I would normally talk to, they weren't people I'd normally want to be with, but I had to do it. And when I think about making an effort in maintaining my environment, well, I'm generally surrounded by a lot of chaos, and every now and then I do something to try and bring some order into that. And it's everything from tidying up and sorting things out and throwing stuff I don't need out to just rearranging my diary, or rearranging the things that that need to be done. And I know I can understand that environment doesn't have to mean trees and birds and things. It's I often find that the thing that really gets me down most of all is just everything that's around me, and every now and then I suppose I have done something about that, but again it takes an effort. And when I think about where I've made an effort in a job, well, I haven't really had a job. Well, I suppose there have been tasks I've been asked to do, not really jobs, and often there's been I've not wanted to do those tasks, but I've had to sort of make an effort and do it. So yeah, there have been moments, I suppose I could stretch to that. I guess working in a lot of jobs is about making an effort and trying to get things done, even when you don't really want to. That probably, more than anything else, may be what employers are looking for. And when I have to make an effort to maintain my spirit or my feelings, yeah, sometimes I get a bit down and I find it hard to lift my mood again. And I suppose I've learnt some things that help. Going to see friends, that helps. Being creative, doing something creative, doing something new, that can be exciting. So I think it's really important to stay positive and to stay, but it is, again, there are things I've learnt to do to actually keep that right. And when have I worked hard to consider the feelings of others? I think that's when I've been in difficult social situations, where I've had to really sort of think about, well, first of all, why I don't like a person, but then if I have to work with them, I've got to find out what the problem is between us. So that's always meant being quite careful in the way that I treat them. And then when I think about some of the practical stuff that I have done, certainly on my degree, there's lots of stuff I've done with technology as part of my sort of intellectual stuff. But actually, when I think about it, I've set up websites, which is kind of, that's doing something for the environment too. That's kind of changing, putting something online is doing something for the environment. And, I mean, my writing's not great, but I do feel that I can communicate with people and understand what they are and how they are. And, my IT's alright, I can use computers.